I'm participating in Tom Dar's 3-knife challenge. So I have 3 vendor knives from Bushcraft USA. The first knife is the River Bottoms blade Puko. And the next knife that I used was the Matt Paul Forged Classic. And then the last knife that I used was the AA Bushcrafter. And so I've already made these fires. I'm filming this after I've made the 3 fires, knee-high fires, also part of the Hardwoodsman's challenge. And I just want to briefly talk about each knife. First, when I started with the RBB Puko, the first challenge with a split wood fire is that the blade length is limited. If I'm going to be batoning, it's really best to have a longer working blade. So for batoning, this would not be my first choice. But when I went to make feathers, it worked fine, and when I threw sparks, it was the best of the 3. Possibly a little better than the AA Bushcrafter, maybe just because of the shorter size, so I had more control. But this was the fastest for me to make those sparks with the ferro rod that I used, the Chinese ferro rod that I had. Up next, I used the Matt Paul Classic. And it's a badass looking blade. It's a nice blade. I looking at the blades before I picked them up, I thought this would be my first choice, and it still possibly could be, just for style. But I ran into a bit of trouble when I went to throw sparks. The spine felt very soft, and I just kept sliding down on that ferro rod, and I wasn't creating any sparks, or it wasn't creating enough. I wasn't throwing enough gobs of spark off that ferro rod. So I ended up putting this down, and I picked up the RBB Puko to throw sparks for my second splitwood fire. And then the last splitwood fire, I used the AA Bushcrafter, and this was a beautiful blade. The handle, look at that perfectly contoured handle. So just the handle design alone made a splitwood fire very easy. And then the sharp 90-degree spine here also made throwing sparks extremely easy. And the longer blade length here made batoning easy. So look at that. Look at how much more blade I have there to work with to hammer down on the other side. I'll show you the comparison. Look, that's a big difference for for one of the primary bushcraft skills, batoning wood, making split wood fires, getting camp started. You're going to want a blade or an axe, whatever tool you're using that is adequate to quickly and efficiently get a fire started, especially in adverse conditions. Fact is, I don't often make split wood fires. I'll probably grab some birch bark, some inner bark, and some sticks, and just get a quick fire going that way. But when you get those troubled conditions, some rain, some wet conditions, snow, and you need to get into that split wood to get to the heartwood to find some really dead and dry wood, well, then it's nice to have a blade that can do that. I'll put the Matt Paul up as well, so you can see the comparison. All right. So that extra blade length goes a long way for split wood fires. But of course, that's not the only thing we use our knives for. So I'll be testing out the knives with with other skills, and kind of try to get a bigger picture to determine what in fact would be my first choice. And that first choice, of course, will only be based on what I like to do most with a knife. So it'll be personal. Well, for Hardwoodsman, it's got to be a knee-high fire. So I've got 4 cut, 3, and then a 4th is a baton. But I'll go ahead and I'll cut another piece as well, just to make sure that I've split enough wood to get a knee-high fire. But with oak, I think it should get there just fine, but just to be safe. got my 3 split wood fires ready to light. There's the RBB Puco fire. In the middle, the Mount Paul Classic. And then on the right is the AA Bushcrafter. I'll go ahead and I'll use my ferro rod. I have just a eBay Chinese ferro rod, and I'll throw some sparks and get these going. In the pocket. All right, we got 3 fires, 3 blades, and they're definitely flaring up to knee high, although the wind's blowing them a little bit towards the camera. There we go. Hardwoodsman, 3 fires, knee high, split wood challenge, as well as 3 different blades for Tom Dara's challenge.